Good morning, traders. So let's get on with the Dow Jones. So as you can see, I think we're just going to focus on a little something different this week, which is going to be the Bill Williams. So getting quite a few questions on the Bill Williams, I thought we would show you a little bit more about the Bill Williams and how you can trade it. And it also gives you a better indication so you can get on the trend a little bit earlier as well. So Bill Williams set up pretty much standard. Got the Alligator. I do have the Bollinger Bands on this as well. I just like the Bollinger Bands help me determine what price is doing. We have the awesome Oscillator, and the only extra thing I have is the MACD, this black line. So that's just the MACD, and it's a MACD with the settings of 5, 13, 5, and all I use that for is diversions. Okay, so I'll show you here. You can see here the MACD, slight divergence, but more of a double bottom. And no, I'm not going to show you on that one on the weekly, but I'll show you on a lower time frame now. Okay, so from a weekly perspective, if you remember last week, we were concerned about this weekly piercing pattern forming. Okay, now for that to have happened, I would have preferred it to close at 50%. So I just want to use the Fibonacci to see what we did. So I would prefer that the close here was on the 50%, which is down here, which didn't happen. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that that's not really a piercing pattern that was brewing on the weekly, but probably more a test of the Alligator here. So for me, the Alligator, those of you who don't know, the blue line is the jaw, red is the teeth, and the green is the lips. Okay, so the teeth is really where the meat is, so to speak. So that's the most important part of the Alligator, in my opinion, anyway. So I look for what's happening. Now you can see on the weekly here, when we're above the Alligator like this, and the Alligator's point to the upside, momentum is the upside, and you basically stay with this trend. Okay. When the Alligator does this, it's sleeping. In other words, it's consolidating. And when it starts pointing to the upside like it is at the moment, momentum is picking up the upside. Okay, so let's just get our... Okay, so the first level is this top here. Now this is basically a W. Okay, so it could be seen as a W reversal. It could be seen as a double bottom. It's a reversal pattern. It could also be seen as a range. Okay, so a break above that level there gives us a target, and I'm just going to block it for you. And obviously this is on the weekly, so if this weekly bar closes above this level here, then we have a measured move target pretty much at the previous high. Okay, so that's weekly. So that's just, we'll have to wait till the end of the week for that to see if that's going to play out. Okay, so for now, we are on the daily. Just bring this all back so we can see what's going on. Okay, so from a daily perspective, the Dow Jones is indicated. So if we take the Bill Williams three wise man strategy, this bar here is a signal bar for a short. Okay, so the short would have been at the break of the tail of that bar. So basically a break below this level. Okay, and the stop would be above. This here on the awesome oscillator, because this is now the third red bar, this is wise man number 2 signal, which would be at the close of this bar. Okay, so this bar is not really formed yet. This could still turn red today by this thing running to the top. So it's not really confirmed yet. So yeah, jury's still out as to whether this little move to the upside is just the Asian market that's running a little bit, which I see they are, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. So clearly that is a level we need to watch for, and I'm just going to delete it and just tidy it up because it basically needs to line up with the tail there and this tail here. Okay. And what else have we got here? So this level here is still a very, very important level on the daily as well as the weekly. Okay. And there's nothing really here. So right now, everything is extremely bullish. Now, if you look at the Oscillator, extremely bullish, but the problem that we have is from there to below the Alligator is 600 and call it 650 pips. So, we're quite far from the Alligator at the moment. I don't see anything else in the daily. Let's just move to the 4-hour. Okay, so now you can see why I enjoy the Bollinger Band. You could see on Friday how Bollinger Squeeze was indicating that a sharp move up or down was brewing, and of course it moved to the upside. Okay, the warnings that you had, all these tails to the bottom, that the buyers, there were a lot of buyers sitting here. You can see how the buyers were just sitting here pretty much Thursday and Friday, from Tuesday. So most of last week, the buyers were buying at the bottom of this consolidation pattern. Okay, so 4-hour, another indication of the Alligator here. You can see consolidation on price action. In other words, a range. The Alligator just lies here, doesn't do anything. And now all of a sudden, we are hungry. We're pointing to the upside. Okay, so the question on our minds right now is this kind of move about to play out? Okay, so, and that's kind of what I'm expecting, to be honest with you. I have a feeling it's gonna. I'd like it to pull back a little bit to come and test this break. Let's just put the brakes in. So obviously, I'll leave that one there because it's pretty close. But there's the next level. So I'd like to see it pull back to test this level, even close the gap if possible, and then move to the upside. We'll watch on the hour to see what's happening. But for now, you can see the awesome oscillator has given us nothing over the last week. It's just a whole week of consolidation, which is really tough to play and annoying as well. So hopefully what we're seeing here is a decent break, maybe a little bit of consolidation at this level, and then further move to the upside. So let's just check the hour out and see. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see when the Alligator does this, and you can see how the awesome oscillator is also just playing. It's not trending. It just becomes very difficult to trade, and you're sort of trading from bottom to top, and trying not to get burnt. But more often than not, your stops are getting hit, and it's being difficult. It's always difficult to play this kind of stuff, and frustrating. So unless you're really confident with your range play, you can anticipate what the bottom of the range is, because you can see how each tail is at a different level. It tags different levels before turning. I mean, I got caught twice, where even on Friday, where we had a range break, sort of an open range breakouts, played out on Friday and Thursday, which sort of the signals were there, but it turned around and stopped you out. So it's very difficult to play this kind of stuff when it's going sideways. So hopefully now we have a different setup. Okay, let me just tidy this one up, I think. So what we're looking for better risk to reward, okay? So we want to see some kind of a pullback here, and we're already, problem is we're 200 points. We've got a 200-point gap up. So highly unlikely, I would assume, that we're going to come all the way back down here. I think more likely would be a retest of this level. And let's just put that level in there. Okay, I'm not putting it exact because we've got all these tails to the downside here. And we do have a level there. So probably ideally what we'd see is a tag here and then a pullback of some sort or consolidation to allow us to get in for the long-term trade. But if I take this on the 4-hour, this to me is looking like a pretty good swing trade setup. Okay, and I think just for continuation, let's just quickly have a squiz here. The 4 hour on the ichimoku, and okay, yeah. So you can see Cisco span is breaking through here. We've had a bullish crossover above the cloud, and remember what I say about the bullish crossover above the cloud. It's extremely bullish. Okay, and the future is green. Okay, and we're slowly starting to point to the upside. So this is turning out to be pretty bullish. Let's get back to Bull Williams. And so you've got the same setup on the Bull Williams. You can see we're pointing to the upside. This is bullish. So what we're looking for is a long entry on the first pullback. Okay, so we want to try to get a long entry as close to this area here as possible, which may not materialize, because you can see when this breakout happened, how long it took for it to come back to the alligator. Okay, so this is why you're going to want to be on a lower time frame, 1 hour, maybe even lower today, just to try and pick up your entry. Okay, you can see the diversions here. Price is going to the upside, and you can see how awesome Oscillator is pointing to the downside, as well as the MACD. But I'm not going to read too much into this because this is after hours. Okay, and again here, look at this on the 15 minutes on Friday, how we consolidated inside the Bollinger Bands like this until, boom, a big breakout of this consolidation. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is a breakout and we need to look for longs. So we definitely need to look for longs, and we've got some big upside targets. And I think I'll just give you an hour. So ideally, I'd like us to come back to one of these trend lines. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for, the pullback to one of these trend lines, which is going to indicate a long. The other way to trade this today is to trade the open range break at the market open. So if we break to the upside of the range that gets formed at the market open, then take that trade to the upside. And trades to the downside, I think I will stay out of on the DAX as well. Sorry, on the Dow today. I'd rather look for a better risk to reward setup, and give me a pullback to anywhere in this area would be ideal. Otherwise, we'll have to wait for the open and see what happens at the open before we can get our long setup. But that's what I'll be doing with the Dow. And by the looks of things, this is going to be the swing trade for the week. It's going to be onwards and upwards. So that's the Dow, guys. I hope it helps, and let's see what happens. I'll catch you guys later.